Week 4 of the Artist Way is a notoriously difficult week for most people who work their way through the program, and I certainly am no exception. I had to take some time off from the Artist Way because I don't know, week 3 kind of kicked my ass a little bit. There was just a lot of things that came up for me. I do have a video on that if you go back a few on my channel, but I also had to take a break because I knew that the reading deprivation week was coming. And the reading deprivation week is a big tenet of week 4. The entire premise of week 4 is recovering a strong sense of integrity. And it's interesting that Julia Cameron goes from recovering a sense of power in week 3 to recovering a sense of integrity in week 4. The two in combination really do force you to be honest with yourself about the ways in which you are denying yourself your own dream, right? The ways in which that we are avoiding the work, whether that be spiritual, practical, whatever it is for you, only you know what that is. For me, it's an actual avoidance of sitting down and doing the thing out of fear of it being bad. And that sounds so simple and ridiculous when I say it out loud, but that entire fear is why I'm here showing up doing the artist way in the first place, is to work through that sense of fear. But week 4 in particular, I knew what was coming. Week 4 is the reading deprivation week. And as someone who makes book content across like 4 channels, YouTube, Substack, TikTok, Instagram, I was really, really dreading approaching this week. In the past, the first time I did the artist way, I straight up ignored the reading deprivation. I didn't do it. And the last time I did it, I sort of switched it up to be a social media or like digital detox week. So I did more of a social media deprivation. I didn't spend a lot of time on apps. But this year, I decided to challenge myself and actually do the thing as it's written on the page. And I will be fully honest, I did not get all 7 days of a reading deprivation, but the 4 that I did get were very, very eye opening and useful. I wanted to kind of share some of my thoughts that came up while I was working with this week, as well as doing the morning pages, which I kind of felt like my morning pages this week in particular really turned a corner. I really wasn't getting a lot from them. And she addresses that in the text of how we sort of feel like the morning pages aren't working. We have, this lack of desire to do them in the first place. We really don't want to keep showing up and doing the morning pages every day. And I for sure felt that for me. But as I approached week 4 and the longer I put off week 4, I found that my morning pages were really calling me out. Like I kept having these moments of realization of where I was letting people in my day-to-day life distract me from continuing, the program. That sounds like I'm blaming other people, but she talks about crazy makers in week 1 or 2 as people who, whether on purpose or not, it's irrelevant, they do introduce a level of chaos and craziness in your life that keeps you emotionally distracted from your own sense of identity as a creative. And that came up for me big time between weeks 3 and 4. And so, with some of that energy that I was forced to navigate, I really struggled to continue living out my own delusion. And by that, I mean avoiding this work, avoiding the self confrontation, meaning, again, looking at myself in the mirror and saying, you are the one who is not making your own dream come true. And that's not in like a productivity way. It's about discipline and it's about integrity. So I started this week by writing the definition of integrity at the bottom of my book. And it says, integrity is the state of being whole and undivided. Also, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. So, that sense of looking myself in the mirror and talking to myself in that sort of tough love, firm way is the way that I have been working on that honesty. I can't continue to delude myself. I can't continue to lie to myself and make excuses for why I'm not writing, why I'm not creating, why I'm not taking some of these things a step further. And actually, at the end of week 4, having done the reading deprivation, I found that I was really able to separate the emotions that I had around the work that I want to do. By the end of week 4, I had so many new directions to head down with each of these tangents of creation that I've found myself in the middle of. I have been putting ideas into writing. I have been writing them down. I have been crafting plans that I've had since the beginning of the year that didn't really have a lot of creative fire behind them. And that honesty really began to show up in the morning pages. And it's so crazy how she starts week 4 by saying that the morning pages serve as this place to help you divide your official feelings from your unofficial feelings. And the unofficial feelings are, okay, I feel okay with the fact that I don't have a book published yet. I feel okay with the fact that I don't really have a book draft written yet. I feel okay about it. It'll happen. Or in the morning pages, really coming to terms with, I'm not okay with that. That's not where I want to be at this point in my life. And she says at the beginning, at the root of a successful creative recovery is the commitment to puncture our denial and to stop saying it's okay when in fact it's something else. And that was ironically a huge theme as I was heading into week 4 before I even began the reading, with the combination of this like crazy maker behavior around me and just a natural sense of progression through the artist way that was already on my mind. And that to me just serves as validation that doing the artist way a third time was the right choice for me. Another big theme that she discusses in week 4 is this concept of kriya. I think that's how you pronounce it. Kriya. It's sort of like a spiritual seizure, is what she calls it in the book. It's, a horrible case of the flu after you break up with a horrible spouse or partner. It's a head cold or a bronchial cough that announces that you've abused your health to meet an unreachable work deadline. It's essentially a karmic consequence of not putting your creative identity or dream first, almost until it's too late. Right. And so I had to really reflect on that concept of Kriya as I was experiencing it in real time during week 4, with again, just like some crazy maker behavior that came up to distract me from my official feelings about my creative journey. These Kriya moments give us that clarity about ourselves that is integral to the sense of integrity we are building through discipline, through continuing to show up in the morning pages, through doing the reading and the exercises. I really found that after I experienced the Kriya and having the silence in my brain due to the lack of reading, as I committed to doing this week, even those 4 days, again, I didn't do the full 7, but even those 4 days of mental silence, I got to a place with myself where I was able to understand that I'm not actually stuck and that I can begin to see where I'm going. I am no longer satisfied with accepting unofficial feelings. I am no longer accepting of other people's definitions of myself because I can see myself so much more clearly now, even 4 weeks into this program. I am recovering and trusting my perceptions of myself, of my art, of my creativity, of the direction forward. And something that I've noticed that I do when I'm really insecure or having this like season of insecurity where I want to create something, it's within me, the idea is there. I will sabotage that idea by going and looking for other examples outside of myself to see if it's been done before. Like, I'm not trying to copy, but I need context. And the context that I think I need is really just a lack of trust in my own identity and perception. And over time, that has eroded and degraded my own integrity and my own sense of identity. There is something really freeing about accepting that once that clarity arrives. Once that happens, I can get to a place where I see and sense that a stronger, clearer me is emerging. And she ends this section before we move into the tasks and the reading deprivation info by saying, I recover and enjoy my identity. That always bothered me the past 2 times that I have done the artist way. I kind of took it more as like a, "Yeah, okay, sure. I can do that. I can do that." And it wasn't really in my heart yet. Like, intellectually, I understood that's where I needed to be. But by saying that I recover and enjoy my identity this time around, this 3rd time around, I think it's finally moved from my head down into my heart, and I'm so excited to see what continues to come from this journey moving into week 5 and the rest of the artist way. I still have to do my week 4 artist date. And so today I'm going to do something that scares me because that is a quote that was featured in week 4 on page 81. It says, eliminate something superfluous from your life, break a habit, do something that makes you feel insecure by Piero Ferrucci. I loved that. So I am going to sit down and start to learn how to knit. I've been putting this off all year. In January, I went to the craft store and I bought knitting needles, I bought some skeins of yarn, and they've been sitting in the drawer underneath my TV cabinet since then. I have not done anything with them. It's because of that fear. Again, that fear of doing something wrong or incorrect, or that it's even too big for me. That's another fear that I've had to tackle. This thing is just too big for me. I can't do it. It's like I'm pre-overwhelmed. A big goal of mine for 2026 was to learn how to knit. I do eventually want to knit my own sweaters and like bags and scarves, hats. And so knitting I just see as a very contemplative practice, and I'm going to do my artist date today, just pulling up a video that I have saved, this like course on YouTube that was recommended to me as someone who is a very beginner. So I'm going to record some of that process. I would love it if you would hang out with me, grab your own project. If you are a knitter, I encourage you to sit and knit with me as I attempt to learn. That's what we do. We pursue things that bring us joy, that spark curiosity. I also really am looking forward to it because I want something else that just keeps my hands busy at the end of the day and I'm not just like picking up my phone. Here we go. Well, it was going so well until it wasn't. I think I had an issue with my original casting online, and then when I was making my way through the actual stitch, I'm completely tangled now, so like I have to start over. But I mean, I had something going. You can see it there. We tried. I can definitely see some visual mistakes, but I am proud of myself for sitting down and beginning to work through what I have. So I'm going to watch the rest of her video. I am sure at some point she addresses common mistakes for beginners. I'm not going to touch this right now until I can finish watching her video just to see if she addresses it. But I'm pretty sure with knitting, if there's a mistake like that, you basically have to go back to square one. I'm not going to delude myself that I can just pick up from where I left off. But honestly, that was so fun. I can see why so many people have picked up the knitting bug recently. For the like 30 minutes that I have been doing this, my mind felt so empty. And I mean that in the best way. I am wanting to give my hands something useful to do and to learn, like a new skill to learn. And so I really feel like this is going to become my new obsession for sure. I am going to watch the rest of her video to see if she addresses maybe how to fix this. Otherwise, it's just going to be starting over from the beginning, and that's okay. Okay, so quick update. I was able to go back and fix my stitches, and I actually have something. Ignore the loose strings. They're certainly not the most beautiful of stitches, but I took the whole thing apart, went back to square one, did the individual cast on with like 15 stitches, and then I was able to do the initial row and I did 2 rows here. So I did one and then back to another. I think I'm going to go and attempt a third so that I can get like maybe 5 rows. It feels good to have gone back and fixed the mistakes so that now I can move forward with a little bit more confidence. And already I was noticing that having just started over and committing to doing it again, I moved through it much quicker and felt more confident in like the hand movements and the stitches. So it feels good to have moved past that initial sense of fear about starting something new and having proven to myself that you can start this new thing and you can do it. There will be mistakes, there will be mess ups, but like now I know how to do this and we can start building on a skill that is in very nascent stages. So I'm going to end this video here. Thank you so much for spending your day with me, and I will see you guys in the next one.